I'm Elizabeth, and I will be doing my DBT video on behavioral change analysis, and my client will be Amber. Hi, Amber.
Hello.
Welcome in today.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to see how this week's been going.
Oh, not too good at all. I've just been having a bad week this week. My ex, which you know about, he called me last week, and I was focused on my change and staying on the the right path, so I didn't answer the phone. But of course, my feelings started to get the best of me, and I started being concerned, and I didn't know, if he was in need of something, if he was hurt, or, he needed me to do something for him, or what it was. So then, I decided to call him back.
Okay.
So, of course, when I called him back, he just wanted to go party and, go do the same things we used to do, which got me into all the trouble. He wanted to go hang out with the same group of friends that, always up to no good and just, bad influence for me. So I had to end that conversation.
And how do you feel about calling him in that conversation?
Well, I mean, I do love him, and I want to be with him. So, I mean, it's like a catch-22. I mean, on one hand, I love him. I know I need to change or whatever, but those are my feelings, and you can't fight your feelings. Your feelings are what your feelings are. So, and like I said, I love him, and I want to be with him. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Okay. So I'm kind of hearing that that maybe calling him wasn't the best option, but you also feel there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. Because again, like I said, those are my feelings, and I feel that, I want to be with him and that I love him. So
you have really strong feelings about how you feel towards him, and just knowing that you need to change, but also just the feelings you have towards him are really making this a hard situation for you.
Yes, it is, because, he's my first boyfriend. He's my first love. He's the first person that I lost my virginity to, and my only sexual partner. I mean, so I have a lot of firsts with him, a lot of, connection with this individual, and it's just hard to, sever those ties. So, I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just hard.
You have a lot of strong feelings toward him. I can see that. But I also know that you mentioned that making that phone call was really hard for you, and afterwards you knew maybe it wasn't the best decision. So I kind of want to go through, there's this thing in DBT called behavior change analysis.
Okay.
And it kind of ends with the behavior that you kind of want to change, and then what led up to it, and what can we change in between so that doesn't happen again.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of give you an example. So let's say behavior would be yelling at a coworker once you get to work, right? So the initial event would have been maybe you woke up late. So you're rushing, you get in the house, and then you get cut off in traffic, and then you spilled your coffee. So by the time you got to work, you were mad, someone said something, and you yelled, right? So something you can change in this kind of cycle is maybe either maybe changing your attitude when you get cut off. Maybe that person's having a bad day too. Maybe they woke up late, or maybe waking up late. Maybe just setting the alarm a little earlier can change this whole kind of thing where it doesn't lead to yelling at your coworker. So that's kind of how it works. So I kind of want to try this with your situation and see if it's possible. Do you think it's going to work?
Okay, we can try it. But again, like I said, my feelings are my feelings. So, I mean, I don't know how you're going to change my feelings in this scenario. So
it's going to be hard to change that. Well, let's see. Let's try to see if we can work out.
Okay.
So the behavior is going to be, the last one's going to be calling your boyfriend, your ex-boyfriend, right?
Okay.
So what was the principal event that started that? The first thing that happened?
He called me.
He called you? Okay, great. We're going to put that.
Okay.
And then what started happening in between here? That between him calling you and you calling him back. What happened? How did you start to feel in between?
I started feeling lonely.
Okay.
Not unloved.
Okay.
Anxious. I was, desiring to be with him.
Okay. Anything else? I like how you put that under lonely. That's really good. You're kind of seeing how that kind of correlates.
Okay.
Did anything else happen before you called him?
Yes, I did go on his Facebook page.
Okay.
I did I drove by his house a couple of times.
Okay.
started looking through old photos of him and I, and we had good times and, you know, happy moments of us, you know, smiling and laughing and playing together.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess kind of going back down memory lane.
Can we kind of put that kind of as under like obsessive behavior maybe? I mean, driving by his house, following his Facebook, does that sound accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So let's start with him calling you. There's no way we can change that, right? That we can't control other people's actions. We can only control our own, correct?
Correct.
So we can't really change that. But how about your feelings? You're feeling lonely, desired, unloved, anxious. Do you feel like you could change any one of these steps?
You mean just change my feelings, just change them?
Yeah. Kind of what we talked maybe a little bit like changing your thought processes to change how you're feeling. Do you think that would work in this situation?
I mean, if I change, if you love somebody, you love somebody. I don't understand how you can change that. I mean, a love is just it's an emotion it just doesn't go away overnight.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you're gonna have a really hard time changing this because just of the strong feelings and love that you have for him.
Right.
So how about these actions, like going on his Facebook page, driving by his house? Do you think you can change that?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about some ways that you can change that so it won't lead to calling him. So like when you're on Facebook, what could you do to kind of change kind of being on his page or distracting yourself from those activities?
I can go to another friend's page.
Okay, you want to write that down?
Okay.
What else?
And instead of going by his house, I can take an alternate route.
Okay, let's write that down. Is that an easy change for you?
Yes.
Okay, great. And then you said old photos. What's a good way to kind of distract from that?
I can take new photos with my girlfriends and, you know, have other happy memories and, you know, interactions with my girlfriends that I can look at when I feel lonely or something.
I think that's a great option. And how about physically removing yourself from like the situation? So you're at home in your computer, Facebook, looking at photos. Anything you can do to physically remove yourself from the situation?
Well, yeah, I like to go walk through the park.
Okay.
So maybe I can go take a walk.
Awesome. So do you think if you, like, let's say you started feeling lonely, you started to feel unloved and anxious, or you started to do these things, right? Facebook him, drive by his house. Do you think if you did these other actions, it would have maybe stopped you from calling him?
Yes.
Okay, great. So do you see kind of how this worked and how we can try it out?
Right, I do.
Do you want to try, so maybe for this next week we can take another situation and try it out and see if it works. Does that sound good?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Amber, and then I'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.